Hello everyone, and welcome to the May of 2024 installment of LouElla's Wine Explorers Club. My name is Noel Scher. I am the Director of Wine Retail here at LouElla and the Curator of the Wine Club. And I just want to thank all of you for going on this vinous adventure with us and supporting this small local business. Well, I think I've got some really cool wines picked out for you for this month. And for this month's video, I'm going to do things a little bit differently. Instead of talking a lot about technical aspects of the wine, which I will include in the email you received this month, I'm going to give you a little bit of insight into what I look for in the category of the wines that I've chosen for this month. Hopefully you'll find this interesting and help you hone your own palates and also help you pick out wines you're going to like in the future. So, without further ado, let's get on to the wines. The first wine that all explorers will be receiving this month is the 2021 Terre Rouge Fiddletown Vineyards Sierra Foothills Viognier. Terre Rouge is a very well-known California winery started back in the 1980s by winemaker Bill Easton. Bill was one of the original, what they call Rhone Rangers, a group of California winemakers who recognized that certain microclimates of California were very much ideal for growing varieties traditionally grown in France's Côte d'Or region. Bill, along with people like Randall Graham at Bonnie Doon, were really the first to work with these type of varieties in California. Now, this is a Viognier. Now, Viognier can be a little bit of a tricky variety for me. It typically is a grape that produces a lot of sugar and not a lot of acidity. And coupled with the fact that it's typically grown in very warm places, like the French Rhone Valley, it can produce wines that are kind of soft, high in alcohol, and not very refreshing. So Viognier can be a tough category for me. So I look for Viogniers that have more balance than is typical. And I think Bill's really knocks it out of the park. Now, if you look at the label, it does say it is 14.5% alcohol, which is a lot. But you have to take that in the context of the fact that this wine, because of the way it was made, with a lot of lees contact, and also that it was grown in the hilly area of the Sierra Foothills, higher elevation, produces a lot more acid balance to the wine, keeping it light, crisp, and refreshing. It does see a little bit of oak age, but not a lot of new oak, so you're not going to taste that vanilla quality, just a little bit of a toast to it. It's a really, really delicious Viognier. I think it's not a white that you would drink by itself, but something that you would have with kind of richer seafood dishes or kind of rich cheeses or even kind of like spicy charcuterie. Bill Easton is a great winemaker. He's a real kind of renegade type, really interesting guy. This wine normally would be $33 on the shelf. For Wine Explorers this month, you're getting it for $26.40. And as always, if you really enjoy it, just let me know. I can order you some more. Hope you enjoy it. The next wine that all explorers will receive this month is the 2022 Piccioni Botafuoco. This is the kind of wine that I'm really on the lookout for the wine club. It's from a fairly obscure region of Italy. It's made with grapes that many people haven't tried before or heard of, and it's a great value and absolutely delicious. This wine comes from the Italian region of Oltrepò Pavese. This is a region in the north of Italy, but it's sort of right at the border of the northern part of Italy and the kind of peninsula proper when you start moving into Tuscany and Umbria. Oltrepò Pavese, the name of the region, means Oltrepò, above the Po River, and Pavese in the sort of larger commune of Pavia. This winery was started also in the late 80s by a winemaker named Andrea Piccioni, who came from the area, although his family was not originally in the wine trade. He was able to buy some old vineyard sites in the Botafuoco subzone here and bring them back to life, convert them all to organic viticulture, although because they'd been left fallow for so long, he didn't have to work against generations of people using chemicals. This is a beautiful red Italian wine made with a blend of three varieties, Croatina, Barbera, which many of you would know from the wines of the Piedmont, and a local variety called Ugetta, which I had never heard of until I tasted this wine. Now, wines like this what am I looking for? Well, I didn't have a lot to base it on because I had never tried a wine from this particular subzone of Oltreppo Pavese before. But wines like this, from these particular varieties, tend to have a rusticity to them. Sort of a wild, earthy, maybe even herbaceous quality. And I like that, but I like that balanced with a certain purity of fruit. And this wine definitely has that. So balancing this kind of scrub brush earthiness, maybe a little bit of leathery spice. There's this beautiful line of pure cherry fruit that really makes it ideal with a lot of classic Italian cooking, especially things with red sauce. There's nice acidity here, along with that kind of smoky cherry fruit. So, wine like this, one of these sort of very country Italian wines, I really look for a balance of direct fruitiness and kind of savage, earthy qualities. For me, a very, very appealing combination, and I hope it is for you as well. This wine would normally be on the shelf for $30, and at 20% off Explore rate, you're getting it for $24 this month. So, the Piccioni 2022 Botafuoco. Hope you enjoyed it. The next two wines will be in the 4-packs received by $100 monthly explorers. The first of which is the 2023 Fritz Müller Pearl Wine Rosa Trocken. This wine comes from Germany, from the Pfalz region of Germany. Now, despite the fact that it's called Fritz Müller, which sounds like it would be somebody's name, it's not. The winery was started by two partners, Guido Walter and Jürgen Hoffmann, two young winemakers, who set out to basically make Germany's answer to Prosecco. Instead of making the more serious sparkling wine made in Germany known as Sekt, they wanted to make kind of light, easy drinking, and very, very kind of budget-friendly sparkling wines. In this case, in Germany's Pfalz region. The name of the winery, Fritz Müller, comes from, they took the word frizzante, the Italian word for a light sparkler, and kind of made it the German name Fritz. And the primary grape variety that they grow is Müller-Thurgau, thereby Fritz Müller. Now, this particular sparkler, or pearl vine as they call it, is actually not made from Müller-Thurgau. It is a blend of Portugieser and Spätburgunder aka Pinot Noir. And it is really a lovely, delightful, light, sparkling rosé. I think this is just exactly the kind of wine I want to be drinking on a hot afternoon. Very refreshing, low in alcohol. It's only 11.5% alcohol. And this is what I'm really looking for in this style of wine. There's a lot more of these not fully sparkling rosés out on the market these days. These sort of more pet nat or frizzante style sparkling rosés that are just really delicious. So what I look for is the perfect balance between fruitiness. So you want to taste red fruit in a rosé sparkling wine, but really the absence of any significant residual sugar. And this is, as the Germans say, and is on the label, trocken, or dry. Now, you wouldn't necessarily know that because usually a wine that's under 12% alcohol is going to have residual sugar. And this one may technically have a little bit, but you just don't taste it. It really comes across on the palate as crisp and refreshing. So if you're looking for a lightly sparkling rosé, talk to your local merchant, me, and tell them that you're looking for something that is dry, because a lot of times these light sparkling rosés can have a little bit more residual sugar than I like. So the Fritz Müller Rosa Pearl wine normally would be $27 retail. For those of you in the club, you're getting it for $21.60. Cheers. The last wine for May of 2024 is a wine maybe a little bit more typical of those that you've seen in the wine club so far. It's a wine from France, and it comes from a family that's owned the estate since the 1700s. This is the Domaine La Cendrillon 2022 Vin de France Carignan. This estate, La Cendrillon, has been in the same family, the Joyeux family, for hundreds of years, as I mentioned. But it wasn't until the 1980s when Robert Joyeux, the most recent in the family line, sort of revived the property as a vineyard. And now his son, Hubert, has taken over and in 2000 began converting the entire property over to organic and biodynamic viticultural principles. The estate is in the French region of Corbière, which is in the Languedoc. This is the far south of France, near the Mediterranean coast. They, however, don't label this wine as Corbière. As many sort of more progressive thinking, natural French winemakers do, they choose to take the Vin de France appellation instead of the one of their village because it's less constricting. It allows them to grow the wines the way they want and blend or do monovarietal bottlings if they want to. In this case, this is 100% Carignan, as you can see written on the label, and you could also see what Carignan does to the hand. It's a very darkly hued grape that gives off very, very dark juice as well. Carignan is one of the key varieties in Corbière and kind of gives off what I think of as sort of the quintessential qualities of this region. And this kind of goes to what I look for in wines from this area. I look for sort of the combination of flavors that come from the garrigue of the area, the sort of scrub brush, lavender, lime, kind of Provençal herbs that you see growing everywhere. There's a sort of a earthy, almost barny, savage quality to the red wines, especially made from Carignan in this area. And this is a sun-drenched part of France, so I'm looking for a certain ripeness and a certain vivaciousness of fruit. And this wine delivers all three in a perfect three-part balance. It has wonderful dark purple fruit, it has all that sort of sauvage herbaceousness to it, and you can really taste the soil here too. There's kind of the schist granite soils of this area. I also like this wine a lot because even though it's robust and has a lot of oomph to it, so it's going to be perfect for, grilled steaks, grilled burgers over the summer, it's got the kind of bright juiciness that lends itself to a chill. So if you're keeping it at home at room temperature, throw it in the fridge for a half an hour before you open it. If you have a wine fridge at home that keeps your wines at 55, 60 degrees, just leave it there until you're ready to open it, and it's going to be the perfect temperature to enjoy. This wine normally would be, I just need to check, sorry, $34 and $27.20 for Wine Club members. Sorry, a little behind the scenes checking there. And if you really enjoy it, let me know and I can get more as long as more is available. This is a very, very small production wine, only about 3,000 bottles total produced annually. The distributor here in North Carolina only had a few cases, which I snagged for you. Well, that's it for the month. If, as always, there are some wines that you enjoy a lot that you want to get more of, just let me know. If you're a member at $50 and either of the wines at the $100 level sound interesting and you want to try them, I can get you a bottle of that at the club price, no problem. Just send me an email at noel@louelladurham.com. Okay, that's it for May. I look forward to seeing you in June and talking to you about those wines. Cheers.